Hello, you guys. It is Ebony. It is I. So, as you can probably tell, it's super fucking overcast today. Like, it's hot, but the sun is not shining. It's just clouds everywhere. My sinus infection is doing a lot better, as you guys can hear. I'm not really as congested anymore. Thank God for that. Anyways, today we're back with a couple more celebrity videos. This amazing person sent me this super long list, but I actually really liked a lot of the people on the list. I was really excited to do it. So today we're gonna start with kelela, as she is like one of my favorite artists ever. Like when I talk about my real musical influences and people who have really changed my life, kelela is one of those people. She also just dropped some new music. I honestly, personally, I haven't even listened to it myself, but everyone is gagging. So if you love good music, if you love R&B, if you love alt music, if you love gay people, go listen to who we're gonna talk about today, Miss Kelela. I believe it's Kelela. Forgive me if I'm saying it the wrong way. But yeah, we're just gonna hop straight in. So I don't know why the very first thing that's coming through to me is her zodiac sign. And honestly, even though I'm really into birth charts, I'm not really one to like pay attention to people's, well, like I'll look at them, but like I'm not really into like the astrology delineation, but that's coming through. I believe she's a Gemini, like a May Gemini. Okay, the first thing I want to say is her next project could be highly successful. This could be, it doesn't matter. I just feel like the next thing that she's gonna drop, this might be an entire project. It might be a single by itself. It might be like, she drops a single with the project at the same time. Like, most people will do that on album release day. There'll be another single that will come out. It's very interesting because I was getting this energy of, okay, money is good, but then I get, money is funny. So it might be a thing of like things like she gets a surplus or things take off for her, all at one time. But there could also be the strong emphasis on getting everything that she's ever wanted, but then feeling some regret over wanting it. Like it feels like, for example, because kelela is a little bit, you could call her underground. I don't know. I don't know if you would call her. You could. I guess you could call her underrated. The thing about people who know Kelela, like they know. Like if you ever heard Prince Pink Pantherist talk about Kelela, like like she's a very transformative experience for people who like her and listening to her. So like I feel like if you know, like she's very much to like Tinashe, where it's like, no, not everyone will know her, but to know her is to fucking love her, right? But I feel like she might come into some mainstream attention, like just like Tinashe, like she might. Because the thing about Tinashe is she had like a mainstream moment when she was on a major label, and then that fell through, and then she was underrated, and then she came back. Right, Kelela has never really been all the way on like that, and she might have a moment where she's getting the most attention that she's ever gotten, and this might be something that she honestly aspires to. She's like, like. Especially knowing her, you might not think that she thinks these things, but she might think of things like, I would love to win a Grammy one day. I would love to go to these award shows. Like, I would love to do the whole circuit thing, and then she could finally get the exposure to where she gets invited to these things or she's being talked about, and she could fucking hate it. Like I get this energy of a turtle. Like she could be quite introverted or just realize that she prefers her introversion, or the quieted version of her life, because if you struggle at this capacity to kind of handle fans and handle fame, my sister, you're gonna be on them red carpets, with real like A-list celebrities, and you're just gonna choke. Very interestingly, this next single, I'm actually thinking about, is it Dim by Eve, like the girl from Luna, right? But it just kind of like, for example, out of everyone from that band, she ended up being the most successful. And Eve has quite a bit of like Western fanship. Like it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to see her have a real career. Not she's deserving, of course, but like I don't know. It's just like Luna is so fragmented. To see her doing it all on her own is quite impressive, and she's had quite a bit of success, especially coming from where she comes from. Like I said, Dim was like a real moment on social media when that sound was going viral. I honestly feel like I said, to me, it feels like the very next thing that she's going to put out is going to be very big, or is going to be pivotal to um her career and her success. And so this might like it might create a viral sound, or it might just put her on in some capacity. But she might hate that she loses her anonymity. For some reason, I was actually just thinking about the fact that Kelela has never really publicly dated. Like I remember during Frontline, there was somebody who people said that the album was about, right? But we've never really seen her like in public. Like, for example, like Solange, I don't know I'm saying this, but like Solange was in a very public like relationship twice, right? With her baby's father. And then she was married, obviously, and then she ended up getting divorced at one point. Kelela has never really showed us who she's like really been talking to or involved with. So this might be like, You know, people are looking into her love life, or they're just looking into details that before she kind of got away with, or no one really would have cared about, or they would have just left her alone about, you know. For example, I don't think that she moves with security like whenever that she goes out, but this might be a thing of her having weird experiences with fans to the point where she has to get security. Especially, I get this energy of in Europe or in foreign countries. This might even be Australia. It could be in a Western place, but it's not like they speak English there, but it's not America. And she could have a weird, scary experience with maybe being followed or stalked or just getting a crazy threat from somebody. So even if they're not necessarily following her all night, it might be like, you bitch, I'll do X, Y, and Z to you. You know, it might have been an encounter that lasted less than an hour, but it really shook her up. Like she's finally having the career fame that she's going to want, but she's just like, is it worth it? Like I think she's trying to weigh the pros and cons of like fame and like, you know, do I really want this platform if it comes with this, where I have to treat myself this way or I'm seen this way by people? It's also very interesting because I feel like she already has her next single picked out. Like she knows for a fact what she's gonna do next. She might honestly have a feeling of what, like have an intuitive feeling of like what this is gonna do, or just like there's something about this next single that feels very like, the word obsessed is coming through. I'm thinking about dragon trained, how to train your dragon. Like there's just something about this that feels like it's immediately going to pop, or it's immediately going to make sense, or it's just the one. Like it's just something about this that feels like it's the one. Like, you know, sometimes people, you know how they ask people like, you know, did you know X, Y, and Z was gonna be a hit? And they were like, yes, I totally did. Like there's something about this where it's like I'm sure about it, it's already decided on at this point. But like the chaos that's gonna ensue from that, she might feel like even if she made a bunch of money, it's not worth it. And people talk about that all the time. I'm actually thinking about the girl from, you know, like those Demir TikToks. She actually talked about how she ended up relapsing into her drug addiction. I'm assuming that it's because of the fame. It might have been some of the stress, but I'm also assuming it's the access to all the excess money that she probably made from that, where she was able to get back into a habit. And so even though she was at her highest, she was kind of at her lowest at the same time.
Mega virality and a Charlie XCX sponsorship did lead to substance abuse, believe it or not.
I know I mentioned Solange. It might not necessarily be Solange, but she could be missing an old friend at this time, especially if this is someone who was a confidant. So she could be trying to make up with this person or really wanting to make up with this person. Yeah, like a friendship rekindling could be significant for her at this time, or she's going to come back into contact. Because I've heard that her, like for example, that's another good thing. I've heard that her and Solange fell out. But like people don't really know the full details of that. I actually kept thinking about that one tweet that Azalea Banks did, where she asked Kelela to collab, and she said she had to ask Solange. She can miss having fun with her. They might even meet at a party or some sort of like recreational activity where there's dancing, or you know they want to go out dancing. Maybe they spend a lot of time dancing before. I feel like they probably did have some sort of friendship breakup, and they could have felt like they were just at two different points in their lives. I wonder if, like the way I feel this is, I wonder if there was some business dealings that went wrong, because maybe something was a priority to one, but not necessarily the other. Like I don't really understand how they were tied together. I don't know if like was one under the other's label or something like that. I just feel like, for example, like let's say hypothetically, Solange was Kalela's not manager, but like ran the label that Kelela was under, right? But then Solange, you know, especially at that point, her son is grown; he's an adult now. But at the time, you know, like let's say 2017, 2018, 2019, her son still would have been like, you know, a mid teenager, and so maybe that like motherhood was taking up a bunch of her time, or a lot of her focus. So when Kalela's like looking for her friend, or she's looking for some business advice or whatever, Solange is not really available because her mind is not in that place. And so they might feel like they're at a place now where they can be copacetic or really, you know, be able to enjoy each other as grown women because, like I said, her son is off being an adult, living his life. Um, I wonder if they ever had some romantic feelings for each other. Like this is all alleged. I don't know that to be true. Obviously, I don't know that to be true. But I just will say that they might have had quite a close relationship or seen each other like family, and this might be because there was some romantic feelings there, or like they were just very like open with their feelings. So maybe they really knew the ins and outs of each other's relationships. But I do feel like this newfound success will bring, either if it's Solange, this old friend, Solange will bring her back around, but this could be an old friend that she misses. And one thing I will also say is, like, for example, dang, I really hope this is not Solange saying this, but this might have been a friend that kind of looked down on her, or maybe like she felt like this friend had way more than her. And so now that they're kind of equally yoked, that's what I'm saying. Like it just seemed like they were at two different places in their lives at the time. Now that she's a little bit more equally yoked and she has some success, their relationship might go a little bit better. And I don't feel like whoever was being weird about money, I don't think that they might have been looking down on this other person, but I don't think it's a hatred of the poor. It's mostly just like, okay, well, if I can do this and you can't do that, but then you don't want me to like help you. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, if we can't if there's just no way that we can organically be in the same places, whether it's that we don't have the same amount of success, or I have the success and I'm willing to help you but you don't want to accept the help, we literally just can't go anywhere. There might be like a feeling of being equally yoked. Like I said, this doesn't have to be Solange. I'm just using her as an example because I know that they had a popular friendship, right? I will also say that based on her next project or her next single, Kalila might win prestigious awards off of this. This might be, it might be a Grammy or just other things in music that are like that, you know, she's never gotten before. To be fair, like I said, she's kind of an underground artist, so I doubt that she's gotten. I hope that doesn't sound shady, but I doubt that she's gotten a lot of awards or recognition for her music, at least from like mainstream avenues like the Grammys or the VMAs or the Billboard Music, right? But yeah, she definitely has that in her energy, like a prestigious award, whether this is like the highest honor like a Grammy or just something that's bigger than anything she's ever gotten before. I will also say Kalella's never been the type to talk a lot, so I don't think she's doing a lot of fan service either, but I do think people feel very thoroughly fed by her work in this album. There might be some great live performances or like music videos associated with this that people love. Like I'm thinking about Closer by Goa Pellet, and like I don't know, it might not necessarily be the biggest thing in terms of like production, but it could definitely be a standout or quite a memorable video. Yeah, that's all I'm really getting for the music just generally. I will also say about Love. I don't know if Kalila has been dating a lot or she just stopped dating, like she maybe took a break or she maybe just broke up with somebody who was overwhelming her. But it definitely feels like there was a lot of energy going into dating at one point in time that's over. And this might be quite recently over, so this could have happened anywhere within the last 6 months, but it honestly might be sooner. Like honestly, it could have been something as early as like February or March that she just ended. Especially if she just broke up with somebody, she might have a couple of songs or hits off this project that are about them that could like I said, they could be hits or they could end up being, you know, very beloved songs. Like I know off the Frontline album, I was obsessed with the lead single, which was a breakup anthem. Even Let Me Know, because the album is basically about moving through a breakup. Even like Better, I was so obsessed with Better, and that song is literally about um like leaving somebody and realizing that you're better off without them, right? One thing I'll say about Miss Kalila is I think she's trying to hide whatever is going on in her personal life. Like I think, like I said, she's never really been the type to be in and out the logs about who she's doing and what she's doing. But I do think she's very much so trying to hide anything that's going on. And I do think the music will overshadow anything, so that will go well. I think, but like I said, I think the music is gonna end up being a lot more popular than she's used to or she's expecting. And like it might become a burden to some extent because she can't really deal with all the attention or all the energy on her because she's never had it like that before. You know, it's one thing to go viral overnight, and it's another thing to be seen as like a mainstream artist overnight. Like, you know, like for example, like Pink Pantheress is like she's considered like she's definitely like a B list celebrity to me. Like definitely not the hugest person in the room, but people absolutely know her when she comes in. And so the thing about Pink is that she's always been kind of relevant ever since she started popping. Like she's always been kind of up there. Kalila has always been underrated. This yellow butterfly is flying past the car. Hold on. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's the first one I've seen all year. That's gorgeous. But yeah, like Pink Panthers has always just been kind of a bigger artist. Like she didn't really have a long phase of being underground, in my opinion. Like yeah, but Kalela has had quite some time. Like it's been like 10 years, and Kalela has been underrated. Honestly, at this point, it's over. I think she started making music in like 2013 or 2014, so it's been a long ass time. Like I said, with Tanasha, she was on, and then she was off, and then she was on again. But Kalila, she's never really been on the way on, so she doesn't really know how to deal with this. And on top of that, Kalila's in her 40s at this point, like, which is not a dig to her, but it's like, you know, it's a crazy, like it's definitely like Tina Turner, where it's like, you know, it's wild to be experiencing for the first time at her age, you know, after all of this tenure, finally having that big moment. Yeah, I just don't think she's prepared, but she's definitely gonna have her equivalent of What's Love got to do with it, like something that just puts her on and sends her into the stratosphere. I think it's gonna be amazing to see a lot of people come into her catalog, you know, years later trying to analyze it. Like, if all you like, girl, when I tell you Frontline essentially changed my life, like the love I had for R&B around that era, like that 2000 like 18, 19 era. Oh my god, like it was just the neo soul at that time was just so fucking amazing. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna stop here for Miss Kalila. Please let me know if you guys have any more questions about her. She's very like she seems like very like she's a Gemini. She's very like spritish, you know, like but I feel like she likes to keep her she's like messy, but she likes to keep her business to herself. Right? So yeah, I just want to see if you guys have any more questions about her. She's somebody who I probably will revisit, but we'll see after like we'll see what she puts out next and you know after this album. But yeah, thank you guys so much and I'll see you in the next one.